UFC Vegas 31, Makhachev versus Moises. This is the weigh-in recap, predictions, and the full card betting breakdown. Look forward to talking about all of the bouts another time. Day out before the actual event. We'll check out the images from the weigh-ins. We'll talk about some of the weigh-in results. We'll see if any of the picks potentially change. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Need at least 75 likes on this weigh-in recap. I appreciate everybody for watching. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel too, covering all things mixed martial arts. And let's also talk about potentially doing the fight companion. If I am able to secure a good amount of likes, let me know in the comments. Do you guys want to see me do a fight companion for this UFC Vegas 31 card? I definitely am open to doing it, knowing that we're going to get a good amount of views in here. So if you guys want to see it, make sure to let me know, and then I probably will end up doing it. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Like this video, and let's get into the first of our fights tonight. It is all the way down at the bottom in the heavyweight division. Rodrigo Nascimento and Alan Bolde. Nascimento brings in more of the grappling style, pretty good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skill set. His striking isn't bad, but definitely shines more so on the ground. On the other side, Alan Bolde is a bit of a wild striker, has that killer be killed attack. Didn't look terrible striking with Tom Aspinall, but he was taken down fairly easily. Nascimento pretty good on the ground. I think he's going to run into a bit of trouble here. We'll quickly check out the images from the weigh-ins. Nascimento there. Man, we got so many ads on MMA Junkie. I apologize, but that's just how they do it. We got Nascimento there. And then we have Alan Bolde looking thick-boyed out. Slight height advantage for Nascimento. Similar frames, both guys carrying a little extra pudge around the midsection. Heavier fighter is Rodrigo Nascimento. He is a grappler. Will that strength advantage potentially play out? I believe it will. I see him getting this fight to the ground, potentially locking up that second round submission. I'll still be sticking with Rodrigo Nascimento, but he's a pretty wide favorite, right? He's minus 315, minus 365, plus 300 at best. Straight bet is not really all that valuable on him. Potential parlay addition for sure. And also maybe you bet Nascimento to win the fight by a submission. What is the odds of that? Nascimento wins by a submission, minus 110, plus 100. Value betting wise, it's not there to risk your money on a prop bet when he could potentially be knocked out. I would lean you towards maybe skipping the bet on this fight or just parlaying up Nascimento, because value betting wise, not all that much value. So I would rather see you guys parlay it up, or maybe just not even touch that fight whatsoever. But I have Nascimento winning. Next fight, Figgy. This isn't Davison Figueiredo. It is Francisco Figueiredo, a.k.a. Sniper, versus Malcolm X Gordon. Pretty favorable matchup for Figueiredo because he's definitely the superior striker to Malcolm Gordon. High-level grappling game as well, good in the clinch. Malcolm Gordon does bring in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but let's talk about a weakness. It's his striking game. He's a chinny fighter. He's been knocked out 4 times in the past out of his 5 losses. I think he'll potentially run into the hands of Figueiredo in this matchup. You can check out them facing off here. Let's get it. Figueiredo slightly taller, both very thin. I really like the chances of us seeing a victory for Francisco Figueiredo. I think it's highly likely he'll get a knockout here. I'm going second round KO for him. I think this will be a bit of a showcase performance. Is pretty heavy-handed, even though he hasn't shown a ton of it inside of the UFC. Definitely sits on his punches nicely, similar to his brother. I see him winning this bout by KO, TKO. Odds of it are plus 157. I do think it will happen. Value betting-wise, it's not terrible at plus 157. Not the most upside. I was like, you could get it at maybe plus 300. I'd be like, oh, go out and get that right now. But plus 157 isn't bad. I see Francisco Figueiredo winning this fight, and I do see him getting the KO. So might be a potential bet there at the plus money. And straight bet on Figueiredo at best value. He's, sitting around the minus 280 range. So realistically, not a ton of value betting him straight. Another more parlay edition bet, but I still see him winning this fight in this matchup with Malcolm X Gordon. Let's keep on moving though. The next fight on the card, Anderson Dos Santos versus Miles Johns. On one side, Miles Johns is a heavy-hitting prospect. decent wrestling game as well. He's definitely well-rounded, but does lack a bit of volume at times. On the other side, Anderson dos Santos, pressure style of fighter. He'll explode with strikes when he's in range, and he'll go kind of crazy for it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so definitely potential for a submission here. I could see him somehow locking up the neck of Miles Johns, maybe if John shoots in for a sloppy takedown and gets caught. I like John's striking, though. I do think he can find a way to win this bout. I think that Anderson dos Santos is a very live underdog. Even though he's 35, he looks in great shape here. Obviously, his opponent does as well. Slight height advantage for dos Santos. I'm not going to change my pick. I rode with Miles Johns to win here. I'm going to stick with Miles Johns winning here. I believe so by a decision. Money value betting-wise, let's see. Johns by KO TKO plus 400. He could touch the chin, but I could also see him getting a decision. But I feel like betting a decision would be a risk here because I think both guys have pretty good finishing ability. Dos Santos to win by a submission, plus 850 as an underdog. Is that plus 850? Excuse me. No. Plus 500. That was if it was Dos Santos in the first round. For a Dos Santos win by a submission, plus 500. Value is there for sure. Maybe you sprinkle that while also betting John straight if you're looking to bet him, or maybe even betting Johns to win by a KO TKO at that plus 400 money. I feel like John's potential parlay addition, but he's a young prospect, and this is a real legit matchup for him. Definitely moving up in the right direction in a tough bout against Anderson dos Santos. We'll ride with him, and we'll be cautious with the amount of money we throw down, but I do think a bet's not terrible on Miles Johns here or dos Santos prop for the submission. Khalid Taha, Sergey Morozov. Fun fight in this bantamweight division. Taha is a warrior. The man takes beating. His nickname is the Warrior. Sergey Morozov on the other side, pretty hot prospect outside of the UFC. Granted, his debut, he was forced to fight Umar Nurmagomedov. That just doesn't go well for most people. It's a Nurmagomedov. They're killers. Rainy Barcelos, hard loss there. Did beat Bruno Silva, but it was overturned. Khalid Taha, athletic striking, does have legit knockout power in the hands, and he's pretty quick with his punching as well. He likes to engage in close, does also bring a decent grappling game. On the other side, though, Sergey Morozov is a pretty solid striker. He likes to keep his hands a bit far out, which do help him control range, granted at a disadvantage in the reach slightly in this matchup, assuming Tapology has the correct height and reach listings, which sometimes they are incorrect. Pretty good right hand. Definitely also has a pretty good looping style right hand as well. Sergey Morozov is a legit prospect, and I don't think this is an easy fight by any means, but I do believe Khalid Taha will be more resilient and win this fight by decision, but we'll check out how they looked on the scales real quick. Look at them face off. Both guys looked in incredible shape, similar height. I got to stick with my man Khalid Taha. No change of pick here. Betting-wise, Khalid Taha is actually not bad at minus 130. That's a decent straight bet. Also, if you're looking to get Khalid Taha potentially to win by a decision, that's sitting at plus 225 at its best value. I don't think that's a bad bet either. Both guys, solid fighters, quality bantamweight matchup here. I'll ride Khalid Taha to win. Do you want to maybe bet Morozov by a KO? I don't really. It's plus 825, but it's not like Taha is a guy that sits down from big shots. Rainy Barcelos touched him up nicely, and he was able to stay in that fight for all 3 rounds. I don't see him getting submitted here versus Morozov. I see him winning a decision, and if Morozov were to win, it would probably be by a decision as well. The money is pretty much the same. Decision on both sides is sitting at plus 225. I just like Taha by a decision. I would pick him and bet him. I'm riding Khalid Taha. Unanimous decision win in this matchup versus Sergey Morozov. Let's keep on moving up this card. Amanda Lemos, Montserrat Ruiz. If you guys have tuned in earlier in the week, I mean, Montserrat Ruiz has things to like. She's a 7-time wrestling champion in Mexico. She's at a disadvantage as far as the height does go in this matchup versus Amanda Lemos. She's kind of a one-trick pony style of fighters. I like the bunny ears she's rocking there. It's a pretty appealing look for her. Big underdog. She's 5 feet tall. Her opponent's 5'4". Reach definitely in the favor of her opponent as well. High level experience in the favor of Lemos. Controls range pretty well with their striking, but both do have the same amount of professional bouts, though Ruiz is a fair amount younger at just 28. The other side, a 34-year-old Amanda Lemos. How much does she have left in the tank? I still think she can make a pretty good run, destroy Liviana Souza in the last one, and then, hard-fought win against Cheyenne Buys for Montserrat Ruiz. I don't see Lemos being controlled as easily as a Cheyenne buys. I think she's going to put up a lot more resistance inside of the clinch. She's going to fend off takedowns. And if she does get taken down, I think she offers threats off her back and she can find a way up. I'm riding Amanda Lemos to win by a decision here. I see her beating Montserrat Ruiz. I see why people are on the dog in Ruiz. The value is definitely there. I don't think it's an awful bet if you're dog betting Ruiz. I think if she were to win, it's also win by decision. Ruiz to win a decision sitting at plus 700 at its best value. That is an amazing bet. Maybe one that you sprinkle down, but I am going to pick Amanda Lemos to win this fight. Lemos to win by a decision. It's sitting at like plus 135. Okay bet. Not a great one though, but I do think she does get it done by a decision in this matchup. Maybe a fight you want to dog or pass betting wise, but I am picking Amanda Lemos to win this fight by a unanimous decision over Montserrat Ruiz. Let's keep on moving. We have arrived at the featured prelim of the night. Daniel Rodriguez versus Preston Parsons. Thankfully, Rodriguez was preparing for a difficult grappler. It was, I believe, a Nurmagomedov. Let me double check so I don't stir you wrong here. But he was preparing for Akubar Nurmagomedov, who's solid on the ground. And now he gets a replacement against Preston Parsons, who actually brings in a decent grappling game, not nearly at the level of Nurmagomedov, but he's grappling heavy. Definitely is going to look to wrestle. Definitely going to look to get this fight to the ground. Has a Thai striking style, though I think he's outmatched striking against Daniel Rodriguez. Southpaw, fast hands. I mean, Rodriguez has a lot of things to like. Really solid jab and a really nice looping hook. Even his loss inside of the UFC to Nicholas Dalby was kind of a BS decision, in my opinion. He's willing to bang. I think Preston Parsons could potentially gas here. I'm going second round knockout Daniel Rodriguez. Let's check out the images from the weigh-ins real quick, though. Seeing them face off. Height advantage in favor of Rodriguez, though Parsons does look good on the scale. Rodriguez is also in excellent shape. I like Daniel Rodriguez to win this fight. I'm going second round knockout. He's a pretty big favorite. Minus 335 to plus 275 at best value, though you can find Rodriguez at minus 250. So I wouldn't say he's an awful parlay addition if the value is there. A straight bet on Rodriguez is okay. Should he win by a KO, TKO, it's minus 130 odds, though, minus 125. Like, it's not money that I want to spend down for a chance that maybe he doesn't get the knockout. Maybe he wins a decision. I see him winning the fight for sure. Could Preston maybe go all 3 rounds? Rodriguez doesn't always land that dynamite punch and hurt his opponents. I'll ride Rodriguez second round knockout. Might be more of a parlay addition type play for Daniel Rodriguez in this fight. The dog to win, let's say hypothetically speaking, you want to bet the dog. If I had to give you the best bet on the dog, it would be Parsons to win the fight by a submission. That's at plus 865 at its best value. I don't think that's a bad bet at all. Maybe something you'll want to throw down, but definitely riding with D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. And let's move on up the main card. Smash that like button if you guys have not yet. I need at least 75 likes on this weigh-in recap. Billy Quarantillo versus Gabriel Mowgli Benitez. I really love this fight because on one side, Mowgli Benitez is a very tricky kickboxer. He's nasty with his low kicks, maybe one of the hardest kickers, period, supposedly at AKA. He's known as a dynamite kicker, and you've seen it in his fights. Also does have some decent punching as well. On the other side, Billy Quarantillo has like a looping style of striking. It's a bit awkward at times. Maybe leaves his hands low at moments where he could get caught, though I don't think he's a chinny fighter by any means. He has a lot of pro experience at this point. He's been in the game for a fairly long time. His jiu-jitsu is very solid. Trains out of Tampa, Florida. On the other side, though, I really like everything from Gabriel Benitez, striking-wise, grappling defense-wise. I think he's going to win this fight by a pretty convincing unanimous decision. Even though I think Billy Q could potentially have moments, we'll quickly look at the weigh-in images here. Only a slight height advantage for Billy Q. I see Benitez winning. Both guys, thinner guys. Neither physique is going to really change the pick in this matchup. I really feel like we're going to see Gabriel Mowgli Benitez on the money, and I think he's going to get a unanimous decision win. He comes off a nice win over Justin James. He had losses, but, I mean, he put on good performances even in defeat against that Omar Morales fight. I like him to beat Billy Quarantillo. I don't think it's an easy fight, but I do think it's a winnable one, and I think he will be victorious in this matchup with Billy Q. Now, betting-wise, where am I going to lean you? The odds sitting around minus 175 for Gabriel Benitez, plus 150 for Billy Q. At best value, you could even find Benitez at minus 160. What I like here in this matchup, potentially, if FightOdds.io wants to load for us, One thing I notice about fightodds.io, sometimes slow. All right, let's double click it. And if not, we're going to have to run over to best fight odds. All right, best fight odds it is. But we'll keep talking about the value there. Thankfully, there's a lot of odds out for best fight odds at the moment. Gabriel Benitez, Billy Quarantillo. Okay, where are the props at? For a Benitez KO TKO, you can find it around the plus 400 range, plus 350. I like him by a decision here in this fight, but he definitely could touch the chin. Benitez decision, plus 190, plus 160. Quarantillo by a submission is plus 1,000. Maybe worth a sprinkle, but it's not like Benitez is a slouch on the ground. I like Benitez to win here. I think he wins by a decision. Potential parlay addition, potential straight bet. Prop betting is very risky, especially with this matchup. I think Benitez could find a way to finish, but he could also end up going out there getting a decision. Personally, skipping the props on this fight, but if you are looking to play it, maybe that Benitez wins by a decision prop bet is the one for you. Should be a pretty good fight to start off this main card. Let's keep on moving up. Rodolfo Vieira versus Dustin Stultzfast. Okay, so this matchup here, Vieira has not looked great. Granted, he had a good first round against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. He gassed out badly. Super jacked, incredible physique. It's mixed martial arts. It's not bodybuilding. Dustin Stultzfast on the other side coming off a loss to Kyle Dawkins, though, shows very resilient grappling, is competent on the ground for sure. I definitely think Rodolfo Vieira has potential to tap him out, but I am on Dustin Stultzfast for a second-round knockout upset against a gassed-out Rodolfo Vieira. I believe he could have addressed the cardio issue, but I think it's going to take more than 4 months to totally change his game. I think Dustin Stultzfast, the more experienced mixed martial artist, is going to beat the high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner by a second-round KO. We will check out the weigh-in. Stultzfast looking in great shape, almost like a Dan Hendo. Obviously, shredded out Rodolfo Vieira. Slightly taller is Dustin Stultzfast. I like Stultzfast in this fight. He's got a good look in his eyes. I'm not saying that it's about looks, but I feel like he's going to get the victory here and be successful in this performance. I have him winning this fight, and I do believe he gets it done by a KO or TKO in that second round. Vieira to win by a submission is just plus 100, so that's kind of how the bookies are expecting the fight to go. I think they're underestimating Dustin Stultzfast. Stultzfast to win plus 550 for a prop bet, just a straight bet on him alone, though you can find him upwards of plus 195. I don't think that's a bad bet. Vieira sitting around the minus 235, minus 200 range, depending on where you bet him down. I like Dustin Stultzfast, KO TKO, and it's going to be in the second round, plus 550. That is the bet that I like. He is the fighter that I like in this matchup. I am picking him to beat the black belt hunter, Rodolfo Vieira. Featured bout of the night, Matthias Gamrot versus Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens. Stevens moving up to 155. Hopefully, everything works out well for him, though I don't think it's a great move. His last bout, he was supposed to fight Drakkar Klose, gave him a bad shove, hurt his neck. Thankfully, nothing with Gamrot along those lines. But Matthias Gamrot's a very different style than Drakkar Klose. Pretty patient with his striking, though he's very skilled striking. Can get the fight to the ground, especially against guys who sit on their punches. That's when he tends to time his takedowns at his best. Jeremy Stevens sits on power shots on a regular basis. He's looking to swing for the fences. He will be off balance. He will be taken down. He will be controlled. I think Matthias Gamrot is going to win this fight by a unanimous decision. If he really goes out there and has the greatest performance he can, I mean, sure, he could get a TKO or even potentially lock up a choke on Jeremy Stevens. For his career, a knockout would be great, but beating Jeremy Stevens is a great feather in the cap. I see him doing it, and I do think by a decision. I like Matthias Gamrot. Let's see, Gamrot minus 208, Stevens plus 178 at best value. You can find Stevens at plus 195. If you're feeling like a wild man, maybe you want to bet Stevens to win by a KO TKO. I mean, he is a knockout artist. Plus 500 is the best value you'll find that at. You could even find it at plus 375 range, though, more normally. Gamrot to win by a decision, though, is sitting at plus 225. Okay bet for a Gamrot decision. I'd lean you towards parlaying Gamrot up. I do like him as a parlay addition. I do like him here over Jeremy Stevens. I do think he will be victorious. Pretty exciting stuff on this card, honestly, as you get towards the top. I think Gamrot's a hot prospect, and I'm excited to see him with the showcase fight here. Co-main event of the evening, Marion Reneau versus Miesha Cupcake Tate. We'll pull up the images from the weigh-ins because Miesha Tate looked incredible. I mean, she always looks really good, and she's still looking fantastic, in incredible shape. I love Miesha Tate. She's an OG of the game. I do hope she is victorious. Though the film study led me towards picking against her, it's going to be really a toss-up fight here. I'll ride Reneau dog or pass here, especially as wide. If you can find Reneau plus 200, that's kind of nuts. Where's that at? Plus 130, you're finding her at the best value. Miesha Tate sitting at best value, minus 138. She definitely could wrestle the hell out of Reneau and win this fight. I feel like Reneau might also win a decision. I hope that Miesha Tate wins. More of a toss-up style play. Not really going to tell you guys to even go out and bet this fight at all. I think just enjoy the action. I think fight does go the distance is probably the safest bet for this fight. I think Miesha Tate could have a great performance and go out there, control, and win. But Reneau has looked pretty decent, mixing it up with some decent girls. So I'm going to pick Marion Reneau on a decision, but I'm going to really hope for a Miesha Tate victory. No bet for me on this fight. Just going to enjoy it. Plus 230 odds for Reneau by a decision. Tate plus 135 for her by a decision if you're looking to bet potential props on them. I think Reneau's striking is definitely better than Miesha Tate's. Tate has always been a stiff striker, and the game has evolved. Though Reneau is old, she has been extremely active compared to her opponent Miesha Tate since 3 years ago. She beat Sarah McMahon. She's on a 4-fight losing streak, but not against terrible names, and nearly 5 years since Miesha Tate graced the octagon. So I will pick Marion Reneau to win this fight over Miesha Tate by a decision. But as a fan, I love Miesha Tate, and I would like to see the comeback story and victory for her. More of a pass on the bet, but I am going with the dog there. Main event of the evening, Islam Makhachev versus Thiago Moisés. Striking-wise, I actually think slightly better is Makhachev than Moisés. Moisés is decent with his striking, a bit flowy, a bit awkward, like a Thai-esque style. I feel like Makhachev has more meaningful Muay Thai skill set, even striking-wise. Granted, he's not a Muay Thai fighter, just that kickboxing Thai-esque style. I feel like on the ground level difference, though, it's going to be Islam Makhachev controlling the hell out of Moisés. He beat Davi Ramos, who's an amazing grappler. Thiago Moisés doesn't have those level of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu credentials. I feel like he's going to be controlled on the ground here. I don't think that Islam is worried all that much about this fight, and you can see why. I mean, a little stare down, and then they're hugging it up like boys here. Moisés looking like he's his buddy. I think Moisés is going to get slaughtered. Third round KO, TKO, Islam Makhachev. I think he puts on a hell of a performance. I think it's a Khabib-esque performance. You guys are going to feel like you're watching Khabib out there. I'm a fan of Makhachev. I love his style. I love the combat sambo. I think he's going to win this fight by dominance over Thiago Moisés. Lock pick for certain in this fight. Sitting at around the minus 630 on my bookie at best value, plus 570 for Thiago Moisés. I don't see Moisés as a dog that comes through here. I think he's in a bit of a mismatch, but an okay fighter towards the back end of the rankings, even though, that Bobby Green fight was a potential controversial nod, but still, he's been victorious since then. I think Islam Makhachev puts it on him. Third round KO, TKO. The over 2.5, minus 200, don't like it. Makhachev to win by KO, TKO, plus 375, decent value. Makhachev by submission, plus 350. Does he submit the high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner? I don't know. I think more positional control and ground and pound. I'll ride Makhachev, KO, TKO in the third, plus 375. As far as betting him straight, he's an absolute lock here. Definitely a parlay staple piece, though the value is not fantastic. He's definitely going to give you a victory and take it home here. I have him beating Thiago Moisés in this matchup. Overall, this card is an okay card. The more the week's gone on, the more the card started to grow on me. I'll give it a solid C+ rating. It's okay. It's mixed martial arts. It's Makhachev at the top. It's Miesha Tate coming back. There's some all right fights. Gamrot Stevens. Should be a fun time. Let me know in the comments, though, guys, if you guys are interested in the Fight Companion. If you want to see it, you got to let me know, and I'll potentially do it for this UFC Fight Night Makhachev versus Moisés card. Now, I do want to talk about some potential parlays. If you gave me $1,000, what would I play? $1,000, my play would have to be on Islam lock, right? Mateusz Gamrot, minus 155. That is my $1,000 play. If you told me I wanted to bring someone else in there, who is somebody I feel that confidence in that I could throw down on, I really have to lean Francisco Figueiredo. Though unproven, I think he's a bit ahead of Malcolm Gordon stylistically. I like him. Plus 119. Makhachev, Gamrot, Figueiredo. I like the odds of that happening. I am riding with all those fighters to win the bout. If you want to go crazy with the parlay, maybe we add in Nascimento plus 182, but I'm actually going to recommend you don't do that. Maybe you add in Dan Rodriguez for plus 192, or you get confident and you bet Mobley Benitez to bring you to plus 253. That's not the $1,000 parlay, but if you want to throw a little something at it to cash nicely, I think that it definitely could for you here. Daniel Rodriguez, another one you could add to it, plus 370. Khalid Taha, if you want to go insane. Maybe you go Stulfas if you want to get rich. Be cautious, though, because this card is filled with potential bets. But this type of thing right here, plus 3,382, that's a lottery ticket. That's not an investment. So if you're looking to just have some fun, play that. But you guys know that 2-fighter parlay is the way to go, essentially. Really enjoyed talking about this card. I'm looking forward to the action. I hope you guys enjoyed this weigh-in recap. Wasn't live like it normally is, but that's because I'm also doing a Bellator Fight Companion just moments after this. You might be watching this tomorrow, so that Bellator card might already be over. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Smash the like button. We need at least 75 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next video.